Hello lovely people, it's Loretta with Sparrowhawker Designs, and today I'm going to try to show you how to do a feather stitch. And I say try because I've attempted this video like twice now, and it didn't work either time because I have to move my fabric back and forth, so I get out of frame. So this isn't like you have to move your fabric with this stitch. So the feather stitch is probably the most popular stitch among crazy quilters. I'm going to just make sure that I'm still in frame here. Yep, okay. And partly because it's just so fun. It just leaves like this trail of stitches down your seam. And partly because there's a lot of other things you can add on to it, and there are a lot of different variations of it. So you pick a seam and you come up to the left of your seam, and then you're going to go to the right of your seam. The same should be about the same distance, and it should be even. And then you're going to come up down here. What that's going to do is it's going to form a V. Now, if I took my needle and just went down right here, you'd make a Y, and that actually is a stitch. You could just do a Y stitch all the way down. But we're going to do a feather stitch, so I'm going to come over here. You want to keep the next step level with the bottom of your V here. So you want to come over, but you want it to be to the right of the right part of the stitch. So you want to come over here, and then you're going to come down here, and you're going to make another V, basically. See? Now, this is where I have to move my fabric. So I'm going to move my fabric and make sure that I am still in frame. Sorry, I have to keep getting up and down, but I want to make sure I'm in frame. Okay. And so then you come over here. I mean, I have to move my fabric. I don't know about you. You might be able to do it without moving your fabric. But you want to stay, so the left part of this stitch is your guide. That is where you want to put your next stitch. But you also want it even with the bottom of this V. So you come over here, and then you come down like that. Take your thread, put it over your needle. Oops. And there you go. Can you see that? Yep. Okay. So I know I should have probably done it with a black thread or red or something to stand out, but this is actually a project of mine, and I wanted to actually use the thread I wanted to use. So then you're just going to go back and forth like that. So this is yeah. So this will be your guide here, and this is your guide here. So you're going to come right over there. And you are going to do like that. So basically you're just making connected V's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, all the way down. So, okay, that didn't take nearly as much time as I thought it was going to. But anyway, so that's how you do your feather stitch. And then, okay. So this is for, let me see if I can do a Cretan stitch for you real quick. I can find my thread that I had picked out. And so this is part of a boho bag that I am making. This is the inside, so the flap goes over top of this. So I wanted everything on this particular part of the bag to be pretty plain. I just want embroidery, really, because I don't want anything to snag on the flap that's going to go over it. So I might put some lace if it's flat, and I might put a doily if it's a really thin doily, but otherwise it's going to be mostly embroidery. So, all right, let me see if so for a Cretan stitch, okay, let me see, am I in frame? Okay, so for a Cretan stitch, there went the sun. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. So for a Cretan stitch, you want it I'm so afraid I'm not in frame here. So this one is, again, so you come up and you have your, you want to come up to the south of your stitch. I guess south is the right direction I would give you. So you're going to come over and you're going to take this little, you're going to take just a little bite out of your stitch. Now, you don't even have to go through all the layers of your fabric. You can just go through the top layer if you want. You'll also notice I don't use a thimble. and you're going to get that. So then you have to turn your fabric back the other way. Forgive me, I'm going to check and make sure I'm in frame one more time. Okay. And then you're going to come down, you're going to do the same thing over here. You're going to take just a little bite out of the fabric. Make sure your thread is on the other side of your needle. And pull. Now you have Cretan stitch. Now you're going to go back. This is the annoying part about this particular stitch, and you will learn very fast that it's easier to do this stitch when you have a small contained area rather than trying to add it to a big piece you've already finished. I know from experience because I tried to do that once. So anyway, you're gonna come over here and take another little bite and keep your thread on this side, and voila, you have another Cretan stitch. Okay, you're going to come down here and do the same thing. Well, like I said, you can get templates that help you keep your stitches perfect if you want. I do not hardly ever use them. And you just go back and forth like that. And once you get the hang of it, it actually goes really fast. It just seems like it's a pain in the butt, but it's not. The only thing, uh-oh, my thread got separated there. The only thing that's hard is moving your fabric back and forth. So there you go. So that is a Cretan stitch. And put that over there. Wah! I'm so sorry. You all just fell out of your chairs, didn't you? So yeah, so that's a Cretan stitch. And this is the fly stitch. Or feather stitch, I'm sorry. Not a fly stitch. There we go. Feather stitch and Cretan stitch. I have no idea if this video is any help at all. So let me show you the bag. This is the flap of the bag. So I finished it. And so like I did this silk ribbon embroidery down here. Over here is the feather stitch that I just showed you how to do. Up here is the Cretan stitch that I just showed you how to do. So I had a ton of fun with the cover of this. So, and then I made this beaded flower to go on the cover of this. So, I've been making this for like 6 years. And I have a confession to make. I can't actually sew, okay? I embellish. I am an embellisher. I can't actually sew. Like, I don't know how to make a shirt. I've never sewn like a tote bag or anything like that. So this is the flap, and then this is the actual body of the boho bag, and then there's a back to this as well that I'm working on right now, embellishing it. So I have to sew those two things together with, I think, a gusset, I think. And then, I don't know, this gets, so anyway, my point is I think I've been procrastinating on finishing this because I know when I'm done embellishing that then I have to figure out how to sew this thing together, and I just break out in a cold sweat thinking about it. So, so I like to blame my daughter for signing me up for craft fairs because that sort of distracts me from the projects I'm working on, but this actual project, this isn't her fault. This is all mine. So anyway, I hope you guys got something out of this tutorial. So it's just very, very hard. I've got to come up with a better way to actually film these things. So anyway, I hope you guys have a lovely day. The sun is trying to shine here. It keeps going in and out. But the great news is I was looking out my window a second ago and I noticed that my lilac bushes have little bitty buds on them. Yay! So spring is on the way. So excited about that. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.